So lately the Disney investors slash executives, the board, and all of them have been very much having a lot of problems with Bob Iger lately and have been falling into a very big shakeup with him and how he's currently in a lot of trouble for specifically handling the cancellation of Star Wars movies in a very specific way. Let's get into it. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into what's going on here. Now, for those of you that don't know, Bob Iger is somebody that has been going through a very rough patch for the past couple of months with failure after failure. Alright, everything started off with the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel closing down, right? That's going to be shut down by this September and bulldozed within a year. Elemental failed at the box office, The Little Mermaid did not meet expectations, and now the latest Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny, is going nowhere toward what they expected. They are attempting to really damage control this whole entire thing as much as possible. However, the latest has much to do with Star Wars, and exactly what Bob Iger is doing and has done, and why the board and the executives are unhappy about how he's handling it. So let's get into this. Now, with Disney CEO Bob Iger currently right-sizing the amount of Star Wars projects moving forward, many of these involve the regulation of Star Wars movies. Now, one big development regarding Bob Iger's recent cancellation of many Star Wars films has much to do with Disney Plus and the cinema. Now, Iger announced some weeks ago of canceling specific said films. However, as it turns out, the films that he did cancel ranged from 3 High Republic Star Wars films that were going to be created by Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland in the form of a trilogy, as well as Kevin Feige's Star Wars film, which was going to center on a brand new era taking place after Dawn of the Jedi, but before the Old Republic era, that would focus on the first established Jedi Order and the origin of the Sith interfering with the Jedi's rise in power. This was the rough idea that was cancelled as well. Now, Bob Iger wanted to make it very clear that he never wanted to make that official, that Kevin Feige was at the forefront of really creating a main Star Wars movie. Another project that is now 100% dead is the Rian Johnson trilogy. This is where investors got quite angry about Bob Iger. Even though Kathleen Kennedy keeps trying to cover this as remaining on the back burner, since Rian is busy with his Knives Out universe. The truth is that Disney wants nothing to do with his movies again. However, over the course of the past couple of months, they came to the conclusion that it would be best to keep that quiet behind the scenes and to not announce this officially, as Disney shows this as a scene or a actual sign of publicly admitting defeat, which is what they don't want to do, since Iger feels that this is encouraging Star Wars haters. This is what many of the board members disagree with and are very unhappy about Bob Iger. So to put things very simply here, they do not like the fact that he refuses to announce, officially speaking, that Rian Johnson's trilogy is dead, it's cancelled, it's not happening, and it is not moving forward. They're very unhappy about that, the fact that Iger continues to cover it as remaining on the back burner and having Kathy Kennedy say the same exact thing, and they're also very unhappy about how they specifically instructed, or Bob Iger specifically instructed Kennedy to make it like Kevin Feige's movie was never really in development and never on the table, when in reality it was. Executives are not happy about this, and the board specifically, because of Bob Iger mishandling the promotion of Star Wars movies in the works. Now look, these cancellations, alright, do not count the Rey movie, unfortunately. It does not count the Dawn of the Jedi film by James Mangold, even though he's in a very tough spot now. We'll discuss that later. And Dave Filoni's movie is still on the table, thankfully. I think that's going to be maybe the one good Star Wars film, to be honest, because that's going to open the gateway to becoming a trilogy. But again, guys, this is all highly dependent on Star Wars Ahsoka's success. He got that movie because of how impressed they were with Ahsoka, so let's see what happens. The other thing on top of this that makes the entire situation more problematic is this. The last project that was cancelled as well that has now been finalized was the Rogue Squadron film that was going to focus on protecting Rey's new Jedi Order from an emerging fleet from another galaxy. This film was going to focus solely on space battles and such, and was recently finally scrapped for good, as it took many months to make this happen. The Rey film, Mangold's, and Filoni's film still remain on the roadmap, with 3 more movies set to be announced in 2024, focusing on the Old Republic era. Now look, I would be unhappy as well if I were the board of how Bob Iger is handling this, by refusing to officially announce that Rian Johnson's trilogy is dead, to refuse to announce that Kevin Feige's movie was a real thing, in fact. And so, it just goes to show you that Bob Iger is very strict with the Star Wars movies and how they are announced, and specifically in what way they are cancelled. And that just goes to show you why Kathleen Kennedy was really going off the rails at Celebration, how she got a little angry there when the correspondent asked her about what happened with Kevin Feige's movie and how that got cancelled and this got cancelled, and she's like, well, we don't really shelve. No, there's no such thing as shelving. She said it like that. You know, she shakes her head because she's trying to contain all that anger. And she's like, we don't shelve anything. We just keep things on the back burner. You know, it's just that idea is always there and can be picked up later on. And basically that means it's canceled, guys. I mean, come on, let's be for real. So, when we look at Kathleen Kennedy, everything that's happening behind closed doors, this is why the executives and the board have been having a very tough time with Iger like this, is because he refuses to officially announce all of these developments involving the High Republic trilogy cancellation, Ryan's trilogy getting cancelled, Kevin Feige's movie and Patty Jenkins' movie getting axed. And that's a lot of projects, guys. I mean, think about this. That's like 9 Star Wars movies almost right there, or maybe even at 9. I can't even count anymore how many Star Wars movies have been in development and have gotten cancelled, to the point where I'm not going to be surprised if this Rey movie falls through, or if Mangold's movie falls through, or if it doesn't happen, as well as Filoni's. I would not be surprised at all, and I'm not going to be fazed by it. I think, and I advise everyone right now to be ready for that. You know, to be ready for those announcements. If Ahsoka comes to not meet fan expectations, I think you're most likely going to see that movie fall apart for Dave Filoni's film, and I think the same will apply here with Dawn of the Jedi by James Mangold, because they already want Mangold out now, from what we've been discussing, what we've been hearing as well. After Indy 5's box office projections, they want nothing to do with him. That's also why they refuse to rehire Ron Howard, you know, for a Solo 2 or a second Han Solo movie, or anything related to the Lando series. So, yeah, I mean, there's that too. Anyways, I would love to hear your take on this below in the comments, because this is an ongoing issue where Bob Iger is just really trying to keep things quiet, really trying to not really say all these things about what's going on with the cancellation of Star Wars movies, and how even the highly controversial ones are remaining on the roadmap. So guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.